Jai Bhim friends. As Prashant explained us, like this is the first writing written by the first student of Savitribai Phule and Jyotibai Phule, and like she is the first feminist writer of this country. Mukta Salve is also referred to as Mukta Bai, a student of Savitribai and Jyotiba Phule, published this letter in a journal called Danyodaya in 1855, which she was only a young school-going girl. As Ranjan Mani notes, this might be the earliest available piece of writing by a Dalit girl, Mukta Salve. This article, originally published in 1855, has been reproduced here from the 2008 book A Forgotten Liberator, The Life and Struggle of Savitribai Phule. It humbles me to realize that God has filled the heart of an untouchable girl like me, considered to be even lower than an animal, with the pain and suffering of my people, the Mahas and monks. The Creator of all beings has put this in my heart, and while invoking His name, I dare to pen this essay with the strength I have now received. The Creator is the one who created the monks, the Mahas, and also the Brahmins, and He is the one who is filling me with the wisdom to write. He will bless my labor with a fruitful outcome. If we attempt to refute on the basis of Vedas the arguments of the golden Brahmins, who hate us and consider themselves vastly superior, they say that the Vedas and their own domain, they are exclusively property. Now apparently, if the Vedas are only for the Brahmins, they are obviously not for us. If the Vedas belong only to the Brahmins, then it is an open secret that we do not have the book. We are without the book, we are without any religion. If the Vedas are the Brahmins only, then we are not found to act according to the Vedas. If merely looking at the Vedas can get us into grievous sins, then would not following them be the heights of foolishness. Muslims led their lives according to the Quran, English people follow the Bible, and Brahmins have their own Vedas. Because they all have their own God and bad religion, good or bad religion that they follow, they are somewhat happier than us who are without any religion. Oh God, please tell us, what is our religion? Teach us, oh God, your true religion, so that we all can lead our lives according to it. Let that religion, where only one person is privileged and the rest deprived, vanish from the earth, and let it never enter into our minds to boost our such as discriminatory religion. These people draw us, the poor monks and Mahas, away from our own lands, which they occupied to build large buildings. And that was not all. They would make the monks and Mahas drink only mixed with red lead and buried our people in the foundation of the buildings, thus wiping out generation after generation of our poor people. The Brahmins have degraded us so low. They consider people like us even lower than cows and buffaloes. Did they not consider us even lower than donkeys during the rule of Bajirao Peshwa? You bet a lamb donkey and his master returns. But who was there to object the rooting thrust of Mahas and monks? Under Bajirao rules, if a Mang and Mahar happened to pass in front of Gripsem, they would cut off their heads and play bat and ball with their swords as bats and their head as a ball on getting on the grounds. When we were punished for even passing through their doors, where was the question of getting education, getting freedom to learn? When a Mangar Mahar would learn somehow to read or write, and if Bajirao came to know about this, he would say, education of Mangar Mahar amounts to taking away a Brahmin's job. He used to say, how dare they get educated? Does this untouchables accept that the Brahmins to hand over their official duties to them and move around with their shaving the heads of widows? With such remarks, he would punish them. Secondly, when this Brahmin satisfied with prohibiting us from learning, not at all. Bajirao went to Kashi and died an ignominious death there. But the Mahas here, no less untouchable than monks, also avoid the company of monks. They have acquired some Brahminical traits and consider themselves to be superior to the monks. They also get polluted by the shadows of monks. Do they staunchly hearted Brahmins who proudly roam around in their so-called holy clothes to proclaim their superiority feel a fraction of compassion for us when we suffer so much on account of being labeled untouchables? Nobody give us unemployment because we are untouchables. No jobs means no money. We have no endure grinding poverty. On late Pandits, fold us your selfish priestcraft and stop the prevalent of your hollow wisdom and listen to what I have to say. When our women give birth to babies, they do not have even a roof over their heads. How they suffer in the rain and the cold. Please try to understand it from your own experience. If they get some disease while giving birth, where will they get money for doctors or medicines? Was there even any doctor among you who was human enough to treat such people free of cost? The Mangar Mahat children never dared to lodge a complaint even if the Brahmin children throw stones at the and injure them seriously. They suffer silently because they know they have to go to the Brahmins' houses to beg for leftover food. Alas, oh God, what agony this! I will burst into tears if I write more about this injustice. Because of such oppression, the merciful God has bestowed on us this benevolent British government. Let us see how our pain has been mitigated under this government. Earlier, Gokhale, Patan, Anjala, etc., all Brahmin surnames who showed their bravery by killing rats in their houses, restricted us not sparing even pregnant women without any rhyme or reason. This has stopped now. Harassment and torture of Mahas and monks, common during the rule of Peshwa in Pune, have stopped. Now human sacrifice for the foundation of force and manism has stopped. Now nobody buries us alive. Now our population is growing in numbers. Earlier, if any Mahar or Mang wore fine clothes, they would say that only Brahmin should wear such clothes. See, in fine clothes, we were early accused of stealing such clothes. The religion was in danger of being polluted when untouchable put clothes around their bodies. They would tie them to a tree and punish them. But under British rule, anybody with money can buy and wear clothes. Earlier, punishment for any wrong doing against the upper caste was behead guilty untouchable. Now it has stopped. Excessive and exploitative tax has stopped. The practice of untouchability has stopped in some places. Killing has stopped on the playground. Now we can even visit marketplace. Under the impartial British rule, may such things happen. As I write this, I was amazed that the Brahmins who earlier used to treat us like dirt, as I have written above, want to free us from our sufferings. Not all the Brahmins though. Those who are influenced by Sadhu continue to hate us like before. They target and outcast the Brahmins who are trying to liberate us. Some noble souls have started schools for Mahas and monks, and such schools are supported by the merciful British government. Oh, the Maharas, the monks who are poor and sick. Only the medicine of knowledge will cure and heal you. It will take you away from wild beliefs and superstitions. You will become righteous and moral. It will stop exploitation. People who treat you like animals will not dare to treat like that, cannot anymore. So please work hard and study, get educated and become good human beings. But I cannot even prove this. For example, those who have received good education also sometimes surprise us by doing very bad things. Jai Bhim.